In the last few years, we have seen a massive improvement in the quality of drone footage. There was a big jump with the Mavic Mini, with a new video processor. The Mini 2 added 4K resolution. The Air 2S was another wow moment with higher resolution and stunning colors. The Mavic 3 added a bigger sensor, variable aperture and a second telephoto lens. Finally, the Hotel Nano Plus, the king of night footage. In this video we will see how the Mini 3 Pro compared to the competition in terms of video quality. Let's have a quick look at the main video features. The sensor size is 1/1/3 of an inch, which is 0.77, almost the same size as its main contender, the Hotel Nano Plus, and double the size of the Mini 2. The field of view is equivalent to 24mm, which is more or less standard for most consumer drones. The aperture is fixed at a very wide f1.7, which should help in low light situations. The video resolution is 4K with a maximum frame rate of 60 frames per second for slow motion. And this is another bonus compared to the Hotel Nano and the Mini 2, which can only shoot up to 30 frames per second in 4K. Two significant features specific to the new model are the ability to tilt the gimbal 60 degrees upwards, opening new creative possibilities, and the true vertical shooting mode. Normal mode ungraded, as it comes out of the box, is used by people who don't rely on computer post-processing or need to post immediately on social media. So it is even more important with this model, as it is the only one of the current DJI lineup able to shoot in vertical format, which is meant mostly for social media. These scenes were taken in late afternoon in hazy condition, not the best lighting situation. My first reaction was certainly not a wow. The footage looks quite dull, decent at best. The structure of the sky is poor, although partly due to the light conditions. In these cases, the defog option of the Nano Plus is extremely useful. In my opinion, the footage just out of the camera for users who do not color grade is better in the Mini 2 and much better in the Air 2S or the Nano Plus. After color grading, things improve substantially, but the structure of the sky does not improve, and there is something strange going on in the shadows. If we expose avoiding burning the highlights, which is the correct way, the shadows are very dark and look a bit mushy, as if they contain little information. When shooting footage at a frequency of up to 30 frames per second, an HDR mode is automatically applied, taking advantage of the dual ISO capabilities. But the difference is barely noticeable, at least in normal mode. Let's see a few more images shot in normal mode with color grading applied, this time in better light conditions. As usual, your opinion is the most important. I'm very interested in reading what you think in the comments below. After all, a lot of personal preference is involved. Users who color grade their footage will certainly prefer to use the Cinelike, a flat profile meant for post-processing. Footage shot with this color profile was first announced by DJI as an 8-bit color space, while after the recent firmware upgrade the files are recognized by many video editors as 10-bit, which involves a much wider color space. There is some controversy as, according to some experts, the container is now able to accept 10-bit files, but the material coming out of the sensor is still 8-bit. We cannot be sure at the moment until further announcement from DJI. Cinelike requires serial color grading and the use of LUTs. Being a new drone, I'm still playing around with different LUTs and have not yet found the perfect one. But certainly the results obtained are much better in my opinion compared to normal mode. Although in several situations the shadows are still not really convincing. Tilting the camera down towards the ground, we take the sky out of the equation and can concentrate on detail and color rendition. The amount of detail is average, certainly nowhere near the Hotel Nano Plus, which for some users is even too much. The results are decent, with better color when using the Cinelike, but on certain occasions I notice once again shadows too dark, even though the dynamic range is very low as the sky is not in the frame. And now the new feature of this model, vertical video. I must admit that it is the first time that I shoot in this format, as I've always thought about video as landscape. In normal mode I immediately notice that the shadows are totally crushed. Even though I'm shooting at sunrise with very limited dynamic range, the sky is correctly exposed, but the vegetation on the ground is just a big blob of black. Even trying to raise the shadows as much as possible, there is very little information to recover. Bizarre, why is it so much more evident in vertical mode? Using this Cinelike things improve only slightly. There is very little going on in the shadows. Disappointing. Of course, it could be something going on with my unit, so let me know your experience in the comment below. Let's now tackle the most difficult situation for drone footage, shooting in direction of the sun. Starting with the sun just outside the frame, and then progressively getting the full sun in the image. The quality of the lens in the last generation of DJI drones has improved a lot. There are no nasty flares or loss of contrast and saturation near the sun. I often notice some color banding in the sky. This makes me think that we are still in 8-bit territory and not 10-bit color mode. But the big issue remains the crushed shadows. The lack of detail in the shadows is a problem in most situations, but it is obviously more evident in extremely difficult high dynamic range situations like the one you're watching now. When I shot the first footage in low light with the Mini 3, I immediately thought that there was something wrong. The result was simply black. No, it's not the name of the rock band, it is what I could see on the screen. I've tried all different ISO values and then auto mode. What I'm showing here is the best I could get. The rest, believe me, was even much worse. I don't know how to explain the extremely poor results in low light with the Mini 3, considering also the bigger sensor and the extremely wide f1.7 aperture. Once again, my unit might be faulty, or I hope there is something wrong with the software or the video processor that will be somehow fixed with a firmware upgrade. I've watched several YouTube videos about it, but they don't help at all. For low light analysis, everyone seems to post footage of some large city with extremely strong artificial light. This is not what I call low light situation. There is a huge amount of light, and the issue is to avoid overexposing rather than showing the low light capabilities of a camera. Just for comparison, this is a real top-class performance in low light from a drone. But I'm being unfair, as it was taken with the king of the night, the Nano Plus, which is from a different galaxy compared to any other prosumer drone regarding low light. I really like the Mini 3 Pro a lot, for plenty of reasons. It is a joy to fly it, the photos looks excellent, and it has loads of interesting functionalities. In easy light condition, the footage shot in Cinelike is good, but I was frankly expecting much better in terms of video capabilities. I hope that the poor performance in the shadows can be fixed by a firmware upgrade. Click on this link to watch my video about my first impression of this drone. And don't forget to hit the like button if you found this video interesting. Thank you.